Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Monday night edition of Not Another Rangers podcast. We have two guests with us. Ricky is always here, and Scott is very rarely here.
Saying Gary is listening Friday.
How are we doing, Ricky? We can't hear what you're saying. I'll go back to Scott first then. Scott, tell us about the theatre. Where were you waiting Friday?
The right Theatre Royal to see Only Fools and Horses. And it was actually really, really good, I have to say.
Was it quite good? Was it a full? Was it some of the old jokes about the 1980s, or was it quite?
No, it was going through all the story, some of the episodes, and obviously it's a musical, so signing all to it, and some of the acting. Paul Whitehouse was really good in it, but some of the actors were really good. It was funny. It was on for about over an hour and a half, and it was pricey, but it was worth it. But don't buy a beer in there, Gary, because they rip you off.
I think I've ever been in the Theatre Royal. So was it? I think it was Paul Whitehouse who was doing it either. Actually, I think he was. Anyway, that's stalled enough there. Ricky, are you back? Can you hear us?
Hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine now. How are we?
Technical problems. Well, I wasn't doing anything as cultured as the theatre on Friday. I was at a barbecue, a few nice beers over the weekend with a few crazy storms in Cyprus, record hailstones. So it was a bit of a wild weekend, but very good. Rangers won again to put a smile back on our faces. So.
And I was at a pool tournament with my mates, a big massive garage, a big pool tournament at the weekend, so many drinks. So it was a good weekend. And then
you won?
No, I get down in the first round. We started at half seven. We still get half drink. That gets in the way of you having a few drinks. And then on Sunday we went to. I was at the cup semi-final at Hampden. So as was Scott. So. Bit of a topsy-turvy week in the life of Rangers. We had 3-2-1 results, if I was trying to remember. 3-2-1s. A win against St Mirren, 2-1 defeat to Aberdeen, then the 2-1 yesterday. So it's been an eventful week, I think it's fair to say. And lots of stuff been happening. It's been lots of discussion, lots of consternation, and quite a bit of aggression at different points in time, I think, when you hear it. So we're going to look over the game a wee bit. We're going to pick some of the main points. What I do is go over the same stuff you've probably all heard umpteen times. So we'll try and pick out some other bits and pieces. Then we'll look at the game on Thursday. So Thursday night we have a game against Olympiacos, Europa Conference League winners. So probably one of the tougher games we will face over this wee spell. We'll pick up a bit of them. Hopefully your knowledge, Ricky, and Scott is pretty good on Olympiacos because I know very little.
Yes.
And Ricky, he's the main man.
Ricky's the main man because he's out that neck of the woods or towards that neck of the woods, so you can give us a full lowdown.
Watching him train.
It's Greece is not in Cyprus, and Greece is different, guys, different country.
I know that.
I do know a little bit about them, so we'll get to that.
Good. So, anybody that's watching, please like and subscribe. And if you don't like, still please like and subscribe because it helps us. So please do so if you're enjoying it. It certainly makes the pod go a bit further. So, first, get some thoughts on the game, Ricky. What are your thoughts overall in the game?
Yeah, well, like you said, topsy-turvy week. It was results up and down. It's been quite tough following Rangers recently. It's not just the results. The way we've been playing has been pretty disappointing. And again, yesterday it was up and down. First half, I didn't think we were as bad as like some people are saying. Okay, it was still too slow. We were still way too slow. We were playing the ball around. Our passing was too slow. But we did have some good chances, Dessers should have. How he missed that open goal towards the end of the half was a bad miss. But second half, I think Comont said he was calm with the players at half-time. And in the second half, we were a lot better, We were moving the ball about a lot quicker. We got the goal nice and early at the start of the second half, which obviously deflated Motherwell. It was a little bit. I didn't think Motherwell offered much. They've been in quite good form, so I was expecting a lot more from Motherwell. But I think we pretty much dominated the match for the full 90 minutes. But we don't take our chances, and it's a huge problem. We create good chances, but when we get these chances, we've got to be way more clinical. You've seen how clinical they were on Saturday, and we need to find a few extra gears when we're getting these chances and find a way of putting more of these chances away. But two great goals. Obviously, everyone's speaking about Danilo and Sterling when they came on. They made a big difference to the team. Lawrence going off as well. 3 quite slow players replaced with a bit more pace in the team. I think a lot of people want to see that going forward. So all in all, a good win. We're into the final, 3:30 on the 15th of December. So we have 1 month for Clermont to sort the team out before we play them. So interesting 4 weeks ahead.
So before I come to Scott, I'm going to ask a question, Ricky. You're watching it on the TV. So me and Scott are at the game, right? And it's obviously vastly different when you're sitting there sometimes in the heat of the atmosphere and the heat of the booing round about you and all the stuff that goes with it.
Yes.
Did it look? Was it quite comfortable in terms of the game overall? Bar, I don't remember Motherwell doing an awful lot.
Well, first half we were, exactly. We were comfortable, but first half we were comfortable in this. We didn't really. Again, it was a little bit too slow, a little bit too turgid, and the chances we created, obviously we weren't able to take any of them. But as I said, Motherwell, Butland really didn't have that many saves to make. I think apart from the actual goal, Motherwell were a bit disappointing on the day. I thought, to be honest, they were really poor. So, but second half a lot better, a bit more pace in the team, and we obviously took the chances in the second half, which was good to get to the final.
And Scott, you were obviously at the game, as you said. So your thoughts and reflections on it?
Poor, Gary. Poor. I was in the north stand, and I hate sitting behind the goals every week at Ibrox. So as they always pick the north stand, I go to Hampden. It was poor. I thought the first half was awful. I thought both teams are poor, and they're supposed to be third and fourth in the league. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't great. Did I get football stopped the first half? Motherwell goal, don't get me wrong, it's a decent cross. Tav should have done better to stop it right enough, and Butland should come out. I don't know if I was sat and he probably should have, but I'm really seeing it back on TV, to be honest with you. And then I think Jeffrey was actually running away with it. He thought the ball was coming to him, he was going to run away with it, didn't he? And Andy Hardy just momentum took him through, done really well to get to it. I have to say, a good finish by Andy Hardy. And what I will say about this Andy Hardy thing, I seen it in the papers today, and one of the guys in the work was talking about it, even though he's not a Rangers fan, but that's usual. And he was saying that he didn't celebrate scoring a goal. That's happens all over the world. People don't celebrate scoring against teams they've played with before. So, as usual in Scotland, it's blown out of proportion because it's Rangers involved. But no, he done well Hardy to get the goal in, and didn't really do much apart from that, right enough. I thought he was huffing and puffing through the game. I thought Raskin and Barry were two only kind of folk to try to get forward. Certainly was trying, but second half he got a lot better. But I thought the first half Gary was awful, and there wasn't a lot to even talk about. To be honest with you, I spent most of that match complaining to the boy in front of me, and he was saying, "Well, my own players are just complaining about things." It was that bad. That's what it was.
We'll do that then. We'll try and talk about it, and we'll try and work our way through the game, then pick up some of the main points. So I think from the team lineups, Hefty and Jeremy come back in for McCausland and Casemiro. McCausland wasn't even on the bench. I'm not sure if there was something said on TV, Ricky, if it was an injury or whether he just didn't make the bench. But certainly he was, after a very poor game against Aberdeen, it was quite noticeable that he was no longer on the bench.
Yeah, no, I think he was just completely dropped from the squad, mate. I think it was to do with just the same as Lovelace wasn't involved either. Like, it's a shame because the kids seem to get further and further away. But I was surprised he wasn't even on the bench, to be honest. But I think his performance was that bad against Aberdeen that maybe Clermont is trying to be a bit hard on him and teach him a lesson.
Yeah. And obviously Danilo comes back, and we'll come back to him later on. So after about 3 months is that he's been out, I think. So he comes back into the team. Hadji comes off the bench, onto the bench, after his suspension. So I think as Scott says, first 25 minutes, Rangers were pretty dominant without doing anything of any real note. They had the ball, passed it about a lot. I think I've said to Scott before, the way we see it plays, we play two at the back, one in number 6, and a row of 5 just standing outside the box and just trying to look for something to happen, and one guy in the box. It doesn't really seem to go anywhere most of the time. So the Motherwell defended well. They sat deep. They stopped us playing. And I think other than Dessers hitting one wide, I don't remember an awful lot of shots, Ricky. There wasn't much happening that first half hour before Motherwell scored. Again,
it's the movement, mate. The movement is absolutely piss poor. You know, we get into good positions. We get into good crossing positions. Both sides, Yefte, Dessers, Bajrami. they put balls into the box and everyone's standing still. Nobody's busting a gut to get on the end of it, and it's so frustrating to watch. Even when we're in good positions, we've got good quality players that are trying to find that through ball, but the movement is so poor. And again, this is why the fans are super frustrated, because it looks like we're not learning and we're not too great a coach team. You know, it's just it's game after game exactly the same. That's why fans are hanging on to that little bit of hope in the second half when Danilo came on and Sterling came on, and Lawrence obviously went off in the first half. I didn't think Diamandi was great, but just that extra little bit of pace in the team and having a focal point in the number 9 that was actually making runs. And when he, like for the last goal, just that player making a run and taking 3 players away from Bajrami was enough to create the space. That's what we need to see a lot more of. But it's disappointing, very disappointing in the first half again to see, especially after the result against Aberdeen. You think that the players would be busting a gut again and like wanting to prove that like Wednesday was just a poor night at the office, but it seems to be the same. We just seem to be going to game, and it's just the first half especially, it was too slow, too poor, and it needs to improve. It did in the second half, but when that second half has to be the benchmark going forward for future performances, or the pressure will just keep on come on. It'll just go from game to game to game to game before we play them twice in 2 weeks. It's going to be massive, you know.
Yeah, no. So 25 minutes in, I don't know, Scott talks about the goal. So the ball comes, for some reason, they're able to ping a 60-yard pass over the top of our 2 defenders, which the guy's able to control, bring down, and turning, I think, as a shot. Suter deflects up in the air. Tav should be out quicker to mark him, to block him. Good cross, to be fair to the boy. And Butland kind of stands there. Jeffrey runs away for the ball, and Halliday slides in. I've watched it a few times trying to work out what was actually. I'm on the West Stand right behind it. And I didn't realise, I didn't realise how close in it was, and Butland probably should have been doing a bit better on it.
It wasn't outswing, Gary, right enough, so I don't know maybe if he doesn't want to come for it because of that, or...
I suppose it was outswing, so it must have been 1 yard out when it actually started swinging out.
I think it's, Scott, I think it was because of how close the guy was. He didn't cross it from like out wide. He was almost on the edge of the box. So I thought Butland should have came for it as well, but I think it was the way that he sort of dinked it in from the edge of the box. It was Butland. He definitely should have done better, but it was actually a really good run from Halliday. But the goals that we lose, mate, are comical. Like it's never one error. It's never one error. It's always 2 or 3 players that are involved in like giving away these special goals out every time, you know. And God knows what yesterday was.
Forrest had done that yesterday.
Yeah,
I think he'd have been slaughtered for it. Do you know?
100%.
I mean, it was. He runs away for the ball. So at the game, Scott, obviously the goal goes in. My take was that it got very toxic very quick.
Very quickly.
Really turned. It was quite nice.
I was saying to Ricky, looking up the game, it was very quiet outside, wasn't it? There was a lot of singing. There was a lot of... Don't really know what the atmosphere was like. A really strange atmosphere. So you didn't know what to expect. The fans weren't known, but it didn't take long to turn. A couple of bad passes for Tav at the start. People, the grumblings were starting. Folk were shouting things. And then they giving the ball away. Folk were shouting things. And as soon as that goal in, the whole stadium just seemed to...
I'm going to answer your question, because I've kind of thought of this since way back in the Dynamo Kiev game. There seems to be this sounds going to sound bad. Please don't turn off for watching this. But there seems to be a desire. It turns so quickly in a lot of games. You know, there is this real frustration and aggression or temperament that, as you say, a couple of bad passes and the crowd's getting on people's back. And then I get there's lots of reasons for that, but it seems, I'm not sure it's helpful.
You can look at it that way. The honest way, I was one of them shouting. I wasn't booing, right? I didn't boo him, but I was one of them shouting. I was booing at half time, but I think it's tough because you're sitting watching your team going through this, and you're not seeing anything at all for anybody. You're seeing it for a few players, right? There's certain players who have actually done okay. Since Conor Barron's come in, he's been okay. He's been really good in times, but he's never ever let the side down. He's never, even when we've been getting beat, he's still trying. There's another 1 or 2 others doing that, but a lot of team hide, and then their performances, they don't get quizzed on it, they don't get dropped, they don't get taken out of the firing line, they're still there for the next game. And the fans, as a fan, you can only take enough, and when you're seeing other teams in the league come into Ibrox and beating, you're going away with games and you're struggling, you're getting beat. There's only so much as a fan you can take, Gary, before you have to voice something, and it's shouting and booing in a stadium is not as bad as it could happen, to be honest with you. But I think it's understandable the way the fans are acting, to be honest with you, because I think what we've seen over this season and last season and probably the season before, it's no great. We're seeing it. We're seeing moments for the team as we see for some players, but there's no consistency at all for anybody. No consistency there is if we're consistently poor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's nothing great to watch, and when you're seeing it week in, week out, and you get a wee bit of hope every so often to one player or a couple of players, and you think this is great, or come on, comes in and going around, you think, is this turning? And it goes back to what we already know. I think that's where it's coming from. It's frustration, but it's also anger, and it's a hope it kills you. It's a hope every time you go and see Rangers, because we're always hoping the next performance we're going to see something, and it doesn't manufacture that way. It ends up being what we've been watching previously. And I know fans don't like to boo you, and you're told, don't boo them, don't do this, because that's not the right way to do it. That's not Rangers way, stuff like that. But there's only so much at times you can take before you have to voice an opinion and voice your anger. And if that's booing or shouting, you're shite or whatever, then I'd rather you done that and going to challenge them inside the stadium, to be honest with you. I don't think that's the right way of doing it, but I'd rather you done it in the stadium and give a bit of abuse here, because the players they know as a footballer, if they make mistakes, are going to get criticised. Doesn't matter who they play with. And if you're getting criticised with 50,000 Ibrox and you can't handle it, then maybe that's not where you should be. There's other players who'll come back after getting that abuse and actually perform better or try harder. And Cherny's one of them who I've criticised. But since he's been a volley of abuse at Ibrox and talking back to the crowd and stuff like that, and we were booing him and we're shouting at him, and then he's come back, and I'm not saying he's been great, but his effort's better. He's going for stuff, he's not hiding as much, he's trying things, and he gets angry when it doesn't go off. So you've seen that for a guy who's on loan, by the way. He's not a pure permanent player, he's on loan. But you see it for something like that, but you see it for that guy who's in the first team week in, week out, who are not giving it. And it gets frustrating because we're going every week out. Guys are watching it all over the world and they're getting frustrated. And sometimes you just have to voice an opinion. If it's anger, it's anger.
Yeah. No, I don't
Gary.
Sorry,
I think it's to do with the lineups as well, man. Come on, lineups are frustrating, you know. I mean, we're on a podcast and we speak on Friday about, okay, what do you think the lineup is going to be? And we're putting ideas out there. Okay, we'd like to try this. Let's try Hadji. Let's try Sterling at right back. Let's try this. And his lineups are exactly the same, or even worse. Sometimes his lineups are like, they're either exactly what you expect or they're even more baffling. And as soon as fans see that he's not trying anything different, it's the same shape, it's the same formation, and then you're 5-10 minutes into the match and it's the same turgid football, slack passes, slow, playing it between our own centre backs and the defence. The fact that's, and also obviously the last few years, but I think that's a big part of the frustration as well, as the lineups, you know.
No, I don't disagree. I think there's definitely issues. We'll come back to some of that as we talk through some of the players. So I think 35 minutes in, Lawrence goes down with a quads issue. I think they said it is now. I think he said that a few times over the last month or two. Is it not? Has he not talked about quads a few times that he's been injured with? So he goes off, Diamande comes on. And if I'm going to be honest, I think the biggest change we had in the whole game is actually Diamande coming on. I think that people talk about a lot of the players as if they made a big difference. Diamande, to me, gave the ball away a lot, but he had energy and he kind of drive around the park and help Raskin and Barron take control of that midfield. And we'll talk about that maybe in the second half. So no changes at half time. I think a lot of people might have thought Tav and Dessers would have been off. Dessers obviously misses an open goal, literally, a minute before. Scott, I don't know. I'm at the game. I'm going to ask you a question because I'm at the game. So what was bizarre about that is nobody really reacted. I didn't feel as though the crowd reacted when they missed it. And it wasn't until I watched it again this morning I realised how much of a sitter it was.
It was poor. It was very poor. But that way, when it happened, it was something you expect to happen. I remember Sakala missing one similar in a cup final, and you were gutted and you were shouting, "What the? We missed that!" But with Dessers, it's like, oh well, he's missed again. And I know he has scored goals in the past, but at this moment in time, his offering is nothing, Gary. I know he scored equaliser and fair play to him. But if he'd have missed that, I think people might have been on the park, to be honest with you. But I don't know. It just, I mean, you talk earlier about crossing into the box, and strikers should be moving for front post, back post, taking defenders away. Dessers hides behind defenders. If a ball's coming from the right hand side, he goes and hides behind the first away defender on the left hand side. If it comes in for the left hand side, he does opposite. He doesn't react. His awareness in the box is poor for a big striker. And he can come like cut me and tell me, look at his stats, and that's fine. But to me, he's no Rangers centre forward, he's no Rangers starting line. He's no probably many teams starting line, Gary, to be honest with you, but I think we need a lot better up top.
I was talking on Friday, I think after the podcast we were chatting, Rick, and I think one of the things that maybe because I'd watched Haaland at the weekend as well, missing 2 sitters, that I think sometimes one of the big problems with Dessers is that nobody else gets chances, so when he misses and we don't score enough goals, it becomes more pronounced, whereas for a lot of the teams, they're getting lots of chances and the misses don't actually matter as much, particularly those across the road. So don't get me wrong, I think he's having a bit of a nightmare, and he's been having a nightmare, but sometimes maybe the fact he's there, turn up every week, playing every week, missing the chances every week, he becomes a greater target.
Yeah, well, he has been our only fit striker basically now for over 1 year, you know, and that's just a ridiculous situation for a club like Glasgow Rangers to be in, you know. I said we should have signed someone in the summer, but this is the situation we are at now. So Danilo looked very good when he came on, you know. He was doing what Dessers doesn't. And the other thing about Dessers is he likes to just stand. He doesn't make his movement. I mean, you guys probably see it more when you're at Hampden. Okay, you're about 3 miles away from the pitch, but you can still see Dessers standing like a scarecrow, barely moving. He's the easiest player to mark probably in Scotland, which is just, Clement keeps telling us he was making him better and he was going to coach him and he was going to do this and he was going to do that. But still, I mean, he had that chance just before half time. And okay, it could have been a penalty. People were saying it could have been a penalty. I don't think you were going to get that as a penalty, to be honest. I think he should have been a bit braver and just put it in the net. Then
why not? I watched the game last season, and I'm sure it was
the edge of the box. There's been a few, but I just don't think Rangers are going to get that in the semi-final 1-0 down, to be honest. And then he had that other chance where he was clean through and he just squaffed it right. Very poor finish past the post. And then it was a good finish for his goal instinct, you know. I mean, this is the thing. We know what Dessers is as a striker, and it's very difficult to play 4-2-3-1 with him as your number 9, you know. But we should have been helping him. We should have changed formation well before now. But hopefully with Danilo coming back, he can find another little burst of form until we get Danilo fit. For me, we should be doing everything we can to make sure Danilo is match fit for December the 15th, because we need him up front for that game. We can't carry passengers on. They're licking their lips at the fact that they're playing us in that final on the 15th. So we have to be ready for them, and we'll have to get Danilo fit for that match. But Czerny and Barami are totally starting to chip in with goals. They're looking a lot fitter, a lot better. So if we can get a number 9 firing, whether it's Danilo or whether it's Dessers, we can get them scoring goals again. It will completely help the team. But there's plenty of matches coming up, Gary, that's for sure. You know, I mean, Danilo can't play in Europe, so Dessers he's going to have another chance against Olympiacos because there's nobody else to play. So let's see how he does on Thursday night in the heat of Athens.
Yeah, so half time comes. I think, as I say, some people are surprised there's not any substitutions. Obviously, Tav's having a bit of a nightmare. Dessers, I think, would get it anyway, irrespective of how good he is, but he's obviously missed that open goal. And the team in general, I don't think there's anyone particularly playing well. I think Barron and Raskin are playing not bad, albeit losing possession quite a few times. But the team in general, by that point, they looked quite withdrawn, Scott. They looked as though they were nervous, looked a bit edgy. I think even Clement said in his post-match press conference that the team were a bit nervous at half-time.
They look nervous, but they look like most of the season in some games. So I don't know why suddenly not at a semi-final. Was it more in case come on and get a sack and I think we've got a new manager coming in? Yeah, I don't really know why, because I kind of agree with Ricky, as in after the defeat they took during the week, they should not for this game, cup semi-final, knowing and get 90 minutes to a final, you have to work for a game like that. You don't go into nervous, and I think the players are nervous because they're not playing well, but they know, some of them know they're going to be playing either way, and I think if Clement's still going to be here in January, which I think he will be, to be honest with you, I don't think we'll sack him. I don't think the board will sack him at this moment in time. I think we'll probably see the season out before we decide on anything, unless it really goes tits up. But if that's the case, and he's looking for, he said he wants another window, I think if that's the case for this window, I think he's going to have to try and get some of the players he trusts off his hands. I think Dessers is one he could sell because he knocked back 2 offers in the summer, and I think if he could get money for Dessers, you take it and try and bring in somebody else. And I think Lawrence, if you can get rid of him, and I think Tav and here, I'm sorry, but Tav has to try and go in January. He probably won't because he's getting testimony on his term of contract and he's happy with his wage. But they 3 guys, if he's going to put his hat in them, Gary, and say, these are my guys, I'm going to go to the end of the season, he's doing himself a lot more damage because none of the 3 guys you pin your hopes to between now and the end of the season. I think he has to go for the younger guys, go for the guy he can maybe like.
Do we don't think Scotland there's maybe a bit of a mixture? You know, a squad's a squad. You don't have 11 players. You need a squad. So what we should do is rotate.
These 3 guys, Lawrence has had moments, to be fair to him, but Tav here still thinks he's capable of playing. Listen to his interview. He thinks he's been playing well. In his mind, he's playing well, but his body's telling him something different. And as a footballer, anybody who plays any sport, you don't like that when your body can't do what you've done previously. So fair play to him because he still thinks he can put a performance in, but he must know himself. He can't. His assists are way down. His goals are way down. His defending is worse than it usually is, and he's getting berated by Jack Butland. He's getting berated by other players in the park. Even the managers have said a couple of things to him. He must know his performances this season aren't there anymore. He must know he has to take a step back and either spend the rest of the season as a bit part player and let somebody else start, or just leave. But because you can't carry a player like Tavernier through the rest of the season, it's going to be worse for the team than it is for Tavernier.
I suppose that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily about carrying any players, it's about using the squad better. I think one of the things we've not done very well since Clement came in, I think that, well, let's pick Tav. He's 33, right? He shouldn't be playing every week. We know that, there's no doubt he shouldn't be playing every week. Same, Lawrence is a Rangers player in a home game at Ibrox against St Johnstone. That's where he's going to excel. And Dessers is probably similar play the last half or so. Arguably, they've got a role in the squad. They just don't necessarily need to be starting every week.
Yeah, but Gary, what you're saying there is that's why the fans are frustrated. You've just hit the nail on the head, mate. That's why the fans are. That's why the patience disappears after 10 minutes, because you're right. As soon as the pace of the game goes up, Lawrence completely disappears. He'll score the odd fantastic goal, but he, as a number, like you said, Diamandi, you noticed it straight away at the match. Diamandi came on in the number 10 position, and he wasn't fantastic, but what he did was he gave you legs in that position, and automatically straight away he put a bit more pace in the team. And then in the second half, he doesn't do it on purpose. He gets completely lucky. He takes Tav off because the fans have had enough. I mean, he's put 2 ridiculous crosses into how he managed to put a cross into the stand in Hampden. He should get a medal just for that. I mean, that's one of his greatest achievements, because the stand is so far away from the pitch, but he managed to hit the stand a few crosses. Fans were booing him, and then also we brought off Dessers because he was frustrating the life out of the fans, and then just bringing that bit of pace into the team made a massive difference. But the thing is, when we get to January, we know we need a striker in January. It doesn't matter, even with the players that are still here, we need a striker. We need a number. Still need someone. We don't know if Cortez is going to be back, but we still need more young, powerful, pacey players in the team. Because the one thing our team completely lacks is pace. When you're starting the likes of Lawrence, Dessers, Tavernier, it's so slow and turgid, and the football's so boring to watch. And that's what we need to get. We need to get the speed of the passing a lot faster, so we can take care of these teams.
Yeah. So we move into the second half then, and score within 4 or 5 minutes. The intensity, Scott, you could see it straight away. You know, they're much quicker, moving the ball quicker. There was midfielders going forward, pushing up. Obviously, nice play with Czerny, rolls it into Barron, first touch on to Dessers, and a good finish, to be fair, from there. So one each straight away. And that was kind of from then onwards. In fact, before then, probably, I think we were dominating for the next spell without creating an awful lot.
We did, and Dessers took his chance. I think he didn't even take a touch. I've not seen the goal again. He was going for the game. I think he had it first time, and that's what he does well. It's when he starts to take a touch and thinks he's better than what he is. But he took his goal well. But Clement was right and still taking him off for me. But fair play to him, he took his goal really well. But Czerny was involved in the move, and he was involved in a lot of good stuff he done. He just wasn't a lot of movement up front and what he was trying to do earlier on. But no, it was a goal needed to get back into match. To be honest with Gary Motherwell were brutal. They weren't great. They scored a goal. I think it was their first time up the park they scored a goal, and they never really had any other chances after that, to be honest with you. And I don't know what their game plan was, Mario. I don't know if they were trying to sit in or they trying to press. Weren't really pressing us. And I thought the midfield, Raskin and Barron done really well against him. Midfield, I really talked about Lennon Miller, but I thought he was anonymous. I didn't think he was that good at all. To be honest with you, the boy is a good player. But no, Motherwell were poor, and I know the manager says kind of otherwise, but I thought we dominated without doing anything, but that was my issue.
I think so 67 minutes comes, Tav and Dessers go off, as you say, they bring on Danilo and Sterling. Now, I don't personally think they individually done enough a lot, but at that point you had a combination of Motherwell tiring, the energy from the midfield, they said with Diamandi on, Czerny and Bajrami came right into the game, particularly Bajrami, he probably played the last 20 minutes, didn't he? I think before that he never really got involved. And by that point we'd taken full control as far as I could see. So second goal comes, Diamandi wins the ball, I think it's a good pass if I remember rightly, plays it along to Czerny, a lovely pass actually inside to Bajrami, who actually makes a bit of a bad first touch. I think takes it away for goal a bit and then hits a shot which I thought was actually an own goal. I thought he got it back and it hit off a defender, but actually deflects in. Ricky, you're watching the goal on TV. Good play.
Yeah, no, very good. I mean, Danilo's fantastic run, and the Motherwell players all completely went with Danilo. He ran beyond the penalty spot, so he took 3 players out of position for Czerny to play a beautiful pass. And I actually thought it was an unbelievable finish until, like you said, you actually see he hits it and it deflects off the defender and then goes above the goalkeeper. But no, well deserved. We were on top. I mean, we were playing the speed in the team, and the passing was a lot more crisper. And we did create some good chances. So it was good that we got the goal, so we didn't have to go for 30 minutes extra time. We've got that many matches on just now. We don't be needing any extra 30 minutes on the end of any matches just now with penalties and all that nonsense. So no, good goal. And as I said, it's good to get to the final, but Jesus, we're going to have to step up the levels if we're wanting to retain the cup, that's for sure.
So the game peters out. I don't think there's much else happens. I think we hit the post again, do we not? And see the Czerny and
we just say actually the keeper wasn't great, but I just didn't mean.
And also Yefte with the Brazilian flair. What a volley that was! Great volley, great save from the keeper. It was right in the bottom corner, and that was actually save of the match.
Aye, no, it was a really good save actually. So I mean, I don't know what stats. I've not looked at them. They were pretty dominant, I'd imagine, over the course of the game. And in less testing and frustrated times, that'd probably be a routine. We'd all got the road and not think about it. But well, then there's a little bit of anger. It brings up more questions maybe than answers. So we move on to the 15th of December at 3:30 for some bizarre reason. We play the League Cup final. So where Clement is now in his 3rd cup final in a row in just over a year. That's good going, is it not, Scott?
That's decent, aye. It's decent, Gary, but it's papering over the cracks really well on it. Oh, you have to come. Yeah, I told you you'll get some positivity. So come on to bring that one out. We've finished 3rd in the league, but Big Gary said that's my 3rd cup final in a row.
Joking aside, but depends. I mean, he's done what he has to do in terms of cups. He has made the 3rd in a row. That is, I give him credit for that, irrespective of some of the other issues.
I just think Clement sometimes his own worst enemy. I think at times you can see what he's trying to do. You can see there's stuff there that he wants to do, but then he's obviously got his favourites, like all managers do have their favourites, don't get me wrong, they do. But he throws some players under the bus, he talks about some players in press conferences, and then he gets asked questions about other players, he said, I don't talk about individuals. It's stuff like that is baffling to me. It's like, right, we know that, but he seems to think there's certain players who's going to drag him forward, and if he would only just, I'm not saying listen to a fan, listen, we go to football, we're not daft, but this is just our opinion. We're not sitting here saying we're right, but this is just our opinion. My opinion is different from yours and Ricky's, so, but I just wish he would go back to basics sometimes, come on, and play guys in a position they're maybe better in, and maybe switch a formation at times to maybe bet it's better for the team. But he seems to have this rigid formation he wants, and he wants to have these players playing, and he'll go back to Tav and probably, and he'll go back to Dessers, and then the cycle continues, and in 2 weeks' time he'll be here again saying Tav and is rotten, Dessers is rotten. Instead of just maybe trying to say, right, I've seen a wee bit of the stuff the team done without Lawrence, Tav and Dessers in their part, right? We can see Motherwell were tired for enough, we can see other stuff, but he's seen a wee bit something different. He's seen more legs in the team with Sterling in it, with Diamandi playing there, who I didn't think was that great when he came on, but I can get what you're saying. He gives his legs that we didn't have the Lawrence there. We can see Casemiro at the back. I know he went off with cramp, but he gives a wee bit of difference. And if he'd done that, the fans might say, well, he's trying, we can see a bit more. But he's not doing that. He's going back to the tried and tested who's failed. And that's where we get frustrated with the manager. Do you know what I mean? He's been here a year and he's still making the same. He's calling out some players, like the treatment he gave to Scott Wright when he was here on and off at half time. McCausland's getting the same. I'm not saying they're two great players, but just what you're doing with them. But then there's others who are rotten and will leave them on to 80 minutes before he takes them off. It's just, look at your team as a whole. Don't have certain guys to these standards and other guys to this standard. That's what I just want to manage. I want him to kind of mix it up and say, this is what we do. And one thing that really grinds to me before we go any further, when his interview was talking about the interview the other day done, and he says, he mentioned 2012.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know what we went through in 2012. And he'll never understand it, because unless you're a fan, you don't have the feelings. I mean, that day, probably 99.9% of us were heartbroken. I was in tears. So I can get what he's trying to say, but it annoyed me, because you don't understand what we went through. So don't try and use that as some kind of mechanism to get in favour, because that really annoyed me, because at that time, I felt my whole world had fell apart. Do you know what I mean? So that annoyed me. I don't know if it annoyed any of you, but it actually annoyed me.
No, I think you're right. I know what he's trying to say. I did get what he's trying to say, but I don't think it's for him to say. I suppose that's the point, and it's not for him to say. It's not his legacy and his era that was involved in it. So we shouldn't really have left it there. So Balogun goes off with cramp because he can't play that many games a week. Casemiro comes on, which I thought was interesting when Proper's on the bench, Ricky, as well. Do you think that kind of starting to spell real concerns about Proper's future?
100%, mate. We've signed, we've gave Davies away, and we've signed the Dutch version. JD's in the comments smoking a cigar saying, I told you he was going to be shite. So he was right. Proper is no, he's been disappointing. It doesn't look like he's built for Scottish football. And come on, and Coppin must have known that they were going to be moving Suter to right centre back. And that Suter is what he is, you know. I like Suter. I really like Suter as a defender, and I think he's been fine. I know fans will give him a bit of stick for a few mistakes left, right, and centre, but we needed a different type of centre back to play beside Suter with a bit of pace, you know. And for me, I don't want Tav to start against Celtic. If he starts against Maeda, then Jesus Christ, we start the game 3-0 down. So that better not happen. But also at centre back, you cannot start Balogun and Suter against Celtic. Forget that. 100. Balogun will be all over the place in the cup final, the same as he was against Aberdeen. So we need to get Casa. He needs to be building that back four now for thinking about, because we've got an international break coming up as well. So he's going to lose basically most of the players for 2 weeks. So he's really only got 2 weeks to build. And a lot of these players are not even in the squad are in the sort of the European squad and stuff like that. So he doesn't have that many matches before we play them. But he has to get it right, because if he picks, like you're on about, okay, he's got us to 3 cup finals, the old happy clapping out there. But if he's not beat Celtic in 5, remember, so if that goes to 6 and we lose the cup final and they're rubbing it in, and then they overtake our trophy number, and then they beat us on January the 2nd as well. And that I always say that's 50-50. That can be a positive as well, because if he does beat them, he needs to get that monkey off his back, and then he beats them in the league, and then we start coming back into it, We don't know how Aberdeen is going to react to this absolute hiding they got at the weekend. So hopefully they come off the rails a little bit and start dropping points, so that we can start clawing back this 9-point gap with them. But he needs to really think about the defence that he's going to choose for that game on December the 15th. We need pace. We need pace in the back line. We need strength in the midfield, pace in the midfield. And it's important that he gets that team right, because if he picks Tav and Dessers and they give us 4 or 5, then it doesn't matter what anyone says. That'll be the end of him 100%.
So, just a happy clapper, honestly, Ricky, being positive about the team you support, isn't it a bad sign? I don't know why that became a criticism all of a sudden.
3 cup finals. You said 3 cup finals, and every positive was a negative. 5, he's played Celtic 5 times and he's not beat them once, mate. And he seems to be getting further away, so we will see.
So I'm going to happy clap again then on this basis. I'm going to ask you a question, Scott. Right, so I was thinking about this earlier on, I was looking at the agenda. So in the league games, we played Aberdeen, Celtic, Kilmarnock, Hearts, and I think Dundee United were the 5 away games. Now, to be fair, four of those, at least the 4 hardest away games you're probably going to get in the first quarter of the season. So he's now getting them at home and over the next tranche of games. Do you think that period is potentially the thing he deserves to then see whether they can actually start to turn it around, that next 10 games effectively, when you've got the big teams at home and the easier teams away, allegedly?
You're trying to you're clutching at straws here. Listen, I think Clement just has to go game by game. I don't think he can look ahead. I think he just has to go game by game and try and get a result in a game and then look forward to the next one. I don't think he can look at the cup final yet. It's too far away. January's too far away. Aberdeen game home too far away. All he can look at now is Olympiacos on Thursday, and then Hearts. He can't look any further than that, because he has to start getting results. And now he can't say, well, come the cup final, this team will be firing. He said that October, November. That is December, right enough. That's the last month to mention. But he can't look for it. He just has to concentrate on Thursday now. We've got a result at the weekend. Granted, it wasn't great, but we got through to a final, and that was the main object of the game, getting through to the final. We've done it. So now he's got to look to Thursday, which to me, you can give him a bit of leeway there, because Sunday in the league's more important for me. I know you want to stay in Europe, but Olympiacos is going to be a very difficult game. So I think on Thursday he's going to have to go in and play a side who he thinks can win, but also play a side and maybe give other guys minutes. I don't think he can go back in there side. I don't think he can play Balogun again, because he's coming off a cramp after a few games. I think he needs a rest. And that's an thing with sports scientists. He says like, well, there's Hefty couldn't play because the sports scientist told him he could, because he needed a rest. Yet Lawrence comes back for injury, who's always injured, and he puts him straight back in his eye. So where's it? It was a sports scientist, and he'd hold that day.
We've got 20-year-old Jeff they can't play, but 36-year-old Leon Balogun, 33-year-old Tav, and 31-year-old Lawrence can play every minute of every game if need be. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's sports science and his app on his phone, is it? I don't know who it is. You know what I mean? It's like, he has rules for some players and rules for other players, and it just baffles me.
So we're moving on to Olympiacos game, and since you started talking about them, we don't know who's going to be fit. We assume Lawrence is probably going to be out. You've got to take.
I'd rest him anyway, Gary, if he wasn't it. If he managed to think you'd rest him.
So I think on that, I mean, one of the questions is, did you say we've got the game against Hearts then and we've got a massive amount of games over the next few weeks. Ricky, you're the resident foreign correspondent, it's fair to say. So your knowledge of Olympiacos.
Well, they're fourth in the Greek league, so they've got a fanatical fan base, so it's going to be what you would expect. And Athens, their support is. I'd imagine it'll be very hostile, very hot for the players. The temperature's still. You're coming from Scotland, 4 or 5 degrees. You'll be playing. It'll be like 20, 23, 24 degrees probably in the stadium, so it'll still be warm. They've won 2 games in the Europa League, the same as us. They've won 2. They also got beat by Lyon, so it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a very, very tough match. But I agree with you guys. I mean, I wouldn't be, even if we lose on Thursday night, as long as we put on a good performance, which I think we will. Because to be fair to Coman, away from home in Europe, he's actually been probably his best. That's where we've been at our best. We beat Betis. We had a great best performance was probably against Malmo. So away from home, he's actually set the team up really well. So
he's
hopefully, I think he's unbeaten. He's unbeaten away from home. So we're not that far away. We're doing pretty well in this table, this mad table. So we've got Spurs and Man United to come up. But if we can get the win and get the victory, then we've got that last game at home that we'll probably need to win to qualify in the playoff round. So I think we can get a result there. I would be pretty confident,
I think 9 or 10 points should take us through.
Yes.
If you can get 1 point against one of the next few games, then USG in the last game at Ibrox, you'd like to think that would give you a good chance.
Yeah, definitely. So it's all there to play for. And people are worried about Spurs and Man United, but there's a good chance Spurs might put out a reserve team when they come to Ibrox, So we'll see what happens. So we're doing quite well. We've been doing quite well in the Europa League. So hopefully we can get a good result.
What's it like? Is it very hot? Very
well, it depends. It's at night. I think the game. What time's the game kick off? Is it
5:45 here?
5:45. So it will be. So it'll be 7:45. It should be about 20 degrees at night. It'll be nighttime over there because they're 2 hours ahead. So it'll be should be decent for the players.
What was the guy, Scott? Do you remember the striker that scored all the goals last season in the Europa Conference League? When there was a guy, he was a journeyman in all his career, and then he was banging in goals coming into that tournament. Sure, he scored in the final against scored against Aston Villa. But I think it was literally like you're criticising Dessers. It was like that type of player, just kind of bundled around his career. Then all of a sudden, had a season where he was banging goals in left, right, and centre. So I suppose my question to you, Scott, would be: what would be an acceptable result? It's all right saying we don't need to win the game, but you can't go and get beat 5-0.
No, you can't. But I think if we go there and put in a good performance, hopefully a good performance. Listen, no want to win every game we go into, we know that, and we should be aiming to go for a win. Don't go out there and say we'll get a draw. Go for the win, but if we can get a draw, that would be fantastic. But I do think you have to mix it up. I think maybe have to bring in. I know Haji's not in the European squad, so he's out. Daniel's out. Maligan, probably Lawrence. So
Yilmaz has any idea where he is?
I'm not really clear. Dessers is probably going to start. I know. I would start Sterling. I wouldn't start Tav. I would start Sterling. I would start Casemiro at the back with Suter. You bring in young Robbie Fraser and put Jeff to fall forward, and
it gives your team then. Let's say you're working your way through, and it gives your team then.
Well, I would actually probably say start Liam Kelly, just keep Butland the rest. Do you know what I mean? But he probably won't. But I would start Sterling at the right back, Suter and Casemiro, and then obviously Robbie Fraser. Safety in front of me, the other side Cherney, but obviously you play the two central mids that we're playing at the moment. I think Naskin's going to a better for him. I know he's not everybody's favourite player, but he does a lot for me. He does a lot of work off the ball. He closes things down, he closes space down. Aaron's opposite, he can get involved. He does the same, but he likes to get forward. You see him, he link up play with Cherney at weekend, who's quite good at times. And Dessers through the middle has to be done. And obviously, does he play Barami maybe his favourite 10 spot, or does he bring in Diomande? I'm not sure. But you have to go with something like that. You can't and give guys who are not getting a game minutes, because he minutes in the leg, because you said earlier, Gary, he doesn't use his squad. I know he moans about not having players fit and stuff like that, but sometimes use your players that's there because we've got a lot of games coming up. I know after the Hearts game, I think there's a break in for international. So I know we've got a wee break there, but mix up a wee bit and see what we can get, and then try and get a result, come back, and you have to win your home game. But means I'm going to say my cause on the Lovelace. I think Ross is a favourite manager. He seems to throw him under many a bus, doesn't he? He's under many buses and that guy in Edinburgh. And Lovelace has to come back in at the beat him in the squad, so he does. So Cole McKinnon will probably sit on the bench as well, but he has to change up just for the sake. I mean, players need a rest. I'm not. You said earlier, some of them are in their 30s, and that's not all because I'm 52. But some footballers need a rest just to get ready for the next coming up game. So do it on Thursday. I don't know if Olympiacos will play their full team all the game. I'm not sure because obviously they've got a lot of matches under their belt, and you're saying they're sitting fourth, so they'll be happy because they're fourth in the league. They want to be obviously challenging for the title. So I don't know if he'll rest players because there's fine rested.
Nah, I think they'll see us. I think they'll see us as a. They've got 6 points already, mate. So I think they'll see Rangers coming there. Our forum third in the league, they'll see it a good opportunity for them to beat us, and then that should be them almost qualified. So I don't think they'll be resting it. But we got lucky that last match with the mad chairman, but this chairman for them, they're part of the Nottingham Forest group. They're all part of that same umbrella, because the guy that's just left Arsenal, Edu, he's going to be the director of football for all their teams, the same sort of job as Klopp is doing. So interesting. But do you want my team?
Yeah, I was good. Well, first question before you say it, Rick. Do you think he'll go with the approach of resting a number of players for the game?
No chance. No, it depends what you mean. I mean, it depends what sports science. Depends who's got the sports science controls. I think Taverniers had the sports science controls. So if someone can get them off of him, then we might. I would like to see Butland. I would go with Sterling right back, Suter, Kassan Wirjo, and Yefte at left back. Don't drop him again because of sports science. He's 20-year-old, for God's sake. Raskin, Barron, and Diamande in midfield, and Bajrami, Dessers, and Cherny would be the team for me. Keep him on the left. I mean, the thing is, I've said this before, Diamande can actually go out and play on the left. So if it's an option to change players around, he doesn't have. I don't know why. Like, not only does he play 4-2-3-1, players are not allowed to swap or move or try and because I know we're speaking about the Olympiacos game. But see when he comes up against Rodgers on the 15th, he has to have different game plans because, like, when we went to play them in the last match, Rodgers just changed it after 10 minutes and we were completely lost. He can't just go into that game with one way of pressing Celtic. You need 2 or 3 ways. If it's not working, you need to keep Rodgers guessing or he'll completely outsmart him and we'll just get destroyed. So he needs to be thinking about things like that. He needs to be changing things up and using these matches to be thinking about the 15th for me.
Yeah. So on that basis, we should be using players like Kieran Dowell and guys like that, bringing them in, get them 90 minutes.
No chance, man. He shouldn't even be in the squad, mate. I mean, he should be punted in.
He should be in the loan-out.
No, he should be he should be sports science. He's just saying that he's overloaded with minutes because he must be. I think he's on like 18 grand a week or something as well, man. See the money we waste. It's pretty incredible.
I was joking, but I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So maybe moving on to Raskin, I'm just thinking about him because he has been out a lot for injured and he had now played 3 or 4 games in a row. Arguably, if you are going to rest somebody, sports science was telling you to rest somebody, he'd be one of the ones that would make sense. Maybe be looking to get a break.
He would, but you can see that he needed the minute. I sort of think the opposite with Raskin. I think the more that he's playing, the fitter he's getting, and the more influence he's been having on these matches. I think he's actually more suited to the number 6 role than Barron is, and Barron and him are starting to form a really good partnership. So I don't think I would be. So I understand about Red, but he's got an international break coming up. I don't think he's too old for the Belgium under-21s, and he's not with the first team. So after the Hearts match, he'll be one of the ones that will be able to get a few days off during the international break. So for me, I would keep him and Barron in the team. Okay, Barron's going to be away with Scotland, but Steve Clark will no be giving Barron any minutes in the 2 Scotland games. He'll just be going to carry the water bottles, so it'll be they'll both get a rest during the international break. So I would keep them both. They're forming a really good partnership, so keep them in the team for me.
No, I wouldn't disagree. I suppose I'm just thinking of players that might, if you're going to rest ones that win it probably logically, and certainly if Lawrence is going to be out, it's maybe bringing players in. So if we look at the game Thursday night, 5:45, we're looking to get a scoreline that's positive. Scott, what do you think the scoreline will be come the end of the evening, come 7:30, 8 o'clock at night?
2 each.
2 each?
Aye.
That gives Clement another couple of weeks, surely, after that.
Surely. At least Sunday. It doesn't at least Sunday. I think it'll be an entertaining game, hopefully, and I think we'll score. We seem to score more goals than we do in the league, so I'm going 2 each. And I'm going Dessers as well. Even though I've criticised him, if I'll pod, I'm going Dessers.
Ricky, I suppose the point is that Scott says that in Europe we do look comfortable when we actually pass another Rangers player.
Yeah, it's just a shame that Dessers is the only strike option we have, and I don't mean to pick on the guy, but hopefully, I mean, he played well. He actually didn't score, but he actually played really well when the whole team played well against Malmo. So hopefully, even if he doesn't score and he misses like 3 or 4 chances, at least if he can have a good night like he did there, I'm going to go 2-1 win for Rangers, and that'll be us almost qualified for the next round. Big positive result. And but it will be tough. It'll be a tough game, so the score can be anything. But I will be positive and go for 2-1 Rangers. What about yourself, Gary?
So I'm fascinated how we went all positive all of a sudden when it gets to Europe.
Let's
Atlantic League. Is there a European Super League still there? We could go and join that. That'd be great. I think we'll score. I think that Olympiacos is a good side. I want to be positive and say that, so I'll go again. I want each draw, but if it's a narrow defeat, I don't think we'd hopefully be coming away with the pitchforks. Who knows? So get a decent result there, get a point, get us moving on. And guys like Dessers and Tav, I would dress Tav definitely. I think he needs a rest because he's going to still play other games. So unless people think he's now all of a sudden never going to play again, they're a little bit deluded. So it would make sense to give Sterling a game, get him 90 minutes, get some fitness in his legs. I think
we can only hope, Gary. We can only hope.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's, but he's not showing, as you said, for having gone on about his squad, he's not showing a lot of rotation. I think as we call it.
He has in certain positions, but not in others.
And it's not helping. Aggressivity, is that the word we use? Aggressive.
It's weird though, Gary, because Matondo's been back now for a couple of weeks in training.
Is he back?
Yeah. I saw him in the training videos. He's been back for a few weeks now. He's been training, but he's not been involved in any squads. Yilmaz has been doing bits. I don't know what they've got. I'm on this weird training program where they're trying to turn him into like a mini Terminator, so he doesn't get injured. It's like just come on and he'll come back. The last time he kicked the ball when it was like a medicine
ball. They lock him in the cryo chamber.
It's madness, man. It's just madness, huh? So, but these players are coming back. I don't know. I think Cortez is still a wee bit away. But hopefully, I mean, if we can get these players back, it does make a squad a lot more options in the squad. So it is good if we can get, so especially for the left side, because it would be great to see Bajrami in the 10. We've not really had that opportunity to give him a run in his proper position, and so hopefully that can happen soon.
We need more legs. We need more legs.
Yeah, that's it. We need more legs. Totally agree.
But we need a bit more physicality, because when we come up against teams who are physical, we don't play well because you've not got a lot there that can fight back.
No. No, I agree. I think it's having those options, and that's what we've been lacking. We've seen for last year. We've no option for Dessers, we know an option for Tav, because Sterling's constantly injured. We know an option to left wing because Bajrami's having to play there, so on. Yilmaz. So if we can get these guys back, it gives you a lot more depth. And to be fair, they're players of our quality. They are international players. These guys at the level, not poor players. So we will be back on Friday night. Hopefully smiling, hopefully more positivity, because it seemed to be relatively happy over that last hour. and I won't be there. So, in fact, I now remember because I'll be at an awards ceremony, hopefully picking up an award for my day job from there. So,
nice. Good luck.
thank you for everybody that's watched. If you did enjoy it, please like, subscribe, and we will see you on Friday evening. Thanks for tuning in. And anything else you want to cover, Scott, Ricky, before I try and end this podcast?
Not I'm all in the door, so I want to go and get something to eat, Gary.
I know, all good, mate, all good.
Ricky needs to eat bed.
I know I'm tired, mate, tired, but no, all good. Good.
Right.
So hopefully a good week for the Bears.
Thanks for joining us, guys, and thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll see you again soon. Bye now.